Let's go back to the party for a minute. You've got your target laid out. You're zeroing in for the kill. How much are you talking about yourself, and how much are you letting them talk about themselves? Let's start with the guys. Go ahead.
I'll say you just keep asking the girl the conversation, get her to keep on talking.
Okay, how you gonna get her to keep talking?
Just just say yeah, okay.
I understand. Not quite what I was looking for, but we'll see if anybody else touches on it.
Would you say it's like honestly like 100% zero? You just keep asking them questions until.
Okay, there's another vote for talk all about them and not about you at all.
Make them feel like you're really listening to them and that you're interested in what they're saying.
Go ahead.
I think you kind of covered it. I was going to say, like, kind of a combination of everything. Like, I mean, obviously you wouldn't be asking them questions, but like, as you're listening to what their responses are, kind of related to you, because obviously they want to talk about themselves, but like also kind of tell them about you, because I mean, yeah, they want to tell you about them, but they kind of want to know what you're about too. So that way they have an understanding of who they're talking to.
Okay, I saw another hand over here.
Seems to me like maybe a good strategy would be to get them to tell you what it is they're interested in or whatever it is they want to talk to you about. And if you find you have common ground with them, then you let them know about it. And then maybe find some more things out.
Okay.
And then let them know if you have any more common ground with them.
Here's where I'm heading with that. You always hear, I always hear, oh, let them do all the talking. Oh, wait, before I go there, let's go with the girls. Let's go with the ladies in the room. How much are you going to talk about yourself? How much are you going to try to get them to talk about themselves? Let's see if the answer is prepared in any way. Back to back.
I generally ask them questions, and to keep the conversation going, I just play off something that they said.
Okay. Any other of our ladies like to chime in?
I feel like we can be more physical, like maybe like give them like a little pat or something if we like what they're saying or something,
Okay.
or if we don't, just like.
But do you want them to talk more about themselves, or you want to be able to talk more about yourself?
Give and take.
Okay.
Yeah, give and take, but I definitely want to know more about the person, because I think girls are a little more cautious of who they're talking to and exactly what you tell them and what you give them later,
Okay.
information-wise.
I think if you want to have like a funny conversation, or at least see if they can interact, just talk about the person behind you or beside you.
Never thought of that one.
But I mean, that way you see how they handle the situation, or like talk about like this conference or your chapter about that individual.
Sure.
See how they present themselves, and how someone talks is going to let you know if you really want to know about them, because you might learn more than you care.
Here's where I'm headed with that. As I started to say, what I've always been taught is you want that person to talk more about themselves. There's one problem with that theory. That person has gone to the same school and wants you to talk more about yourself. So the person who said the give and take, that's it. You want to play off what each other say. You don't want to dominate the conversation, but you don't want to just stand there nodding your head and letting them dominate the conversation. If it's a relationship worth building in a network environment, there will be common ground that you can build on. And you want to explore that common ground without either of you really taking charge of the conversation. And those are the networking conversations that are going to do you the most good in the long run. Cool. What else we got up here? First impressions and lasting impressions. What about first impressions? We talked about that a little bit when we talked about how you're going to dress for the party. But what about first impressions? What can you do to make a strong first impression in a networking environment? I'm sorry? Be professional in a professional environment, absolutely. Yeah?
Stand out, but in a good way.
How? Define that.
be a touch off the norm, but still within the professional boundaries?
Touch off the norm, but still within professional boundaries. My dad was a salesman, a very successful salesman. And he always presented himself professionally. But he wore his watch on his right wrist. And when he would shake your hand, you would see that that watch was a Mickey Mouse watch. Do you think he stood out in people's minds without being inappropriate? Some little thing. There are some folks who always wear a certain color tie that's a little brighter than normal. Or maybe they always have a certain type of pocket square, but something that will set you off as unique. Another technique my father used, no matter what time of day it was, he would greet you by saying, "Good morning, Hank Petch." Do you think people are going to remember him? Now that was a bad thing because I picked up that habit when I was first in the Army, going through basic training, and I'd walk up to a drill sergeant at 6, 7 o'clock in the evening and say, "Good morning, drill sergeant." You can be pretty much guaranteed that I paid for my mistake. So you got to be careful on how you use that. But something, as he says, something that will make you stand out without crossing that line of professionalism. What else can we do to make a good first impression? Surely there's more. Look professional. Stand out a little bit from the norm. Be approachable. Okay.
Maybe just have the appropriate body language, like if you have your arms crossed or at your hips or something, you make a kind of closed attitude. Whereas if you have your arms are open and you have a smile on, people are, I guess, more likely to open up to you.
You know, I know popular psychology says that, but I've always hated that because my default position, because I know nothing else to do with my arms in some situations, is to go like this. And yes, I know that people interpret that as being closed, but I'm not a big fan of that. But point taken. Have your body language exhibit that you're open and willing to.
I mean, I would say that the smile and the attitude that you have and your confidence would carry more weight than just what you're doing with your arms or your legs. But I think to seem approachable, have an open mind.
Okay.
But once you start talking, I don't think it really matters.